Well, Steve, one last question because I think it wraps everything up. You talk about quitting, and you talk about how quitting is human, or at least thinking about it. How can we change the way we think about quitting that actually makes us more likely to succeed?
So I think one of the, again, major problems that we have is we've made quitting as this big, bad, horrible thing that tough people never consider. And when we come to things from that approach, what we've essentially done, as we talked about earlier, is turned ourselves into this avoidance mindset. Where you say, oh, this is the bad thing I'm going to avoid. When the reality is, and I did this, I sat down with some of the best endurance athletes in the world who had made Olympic Games, national records, all sorts of stuff. And I just asked them, how many of you had the thought of, hey, I want to quit. I want to find a hole to step on and to get me out of this race. And every single one did. Even people who had won wow. major marathons. And the reality is that's normal because our brain likes to protect us from doing difficult things. So I think one of the things first is to embrace the reality of thinking about quitting as normal. But I think the other part of having that mindset instead of avoiding it is we are actually training our mental muscle when we give ourselves that choice where it's like, oh, well, I could quit. Because what you're doing is anytime you're in that moment where it's like you have that fork in the road, I could quit, I could continue. And instead of being like, no, never think about quitting, it's a legitimate option. Well, that gives us the opportunity to train our mind, to train our brain, how to navigate that. And then also to ingrain or groove what I'd say the more productive path is, which is, hey, I can wrestle with this and take this, in a positive direction. And there's actually a lot of research that shows when you reframe things like that, what you're actually doing is training, they call it learned hopefulness, where you're training the hope, where you're saying, hey, I'm wrestling with this difficult moment. My mind is looking for an out, but I can find hope in this almost disparaging, stressful environment where I say, you know what? I have a choice, but in this moment, I think I can get through. In this moment, I think I have what it takes based on the information I'm, receiving and the work that I've done to get, a positive outcome out of this stressful or difficult, spot.
Wow. I have to tell you, I know for a fact that works. Now, I'm not going to go into it because we're at the end of the episode, all right? But I know for a fact that exercise that you just talked about, and it works. It can change the way you approach a difficult situation. I didn't know the science behind it, but I've done it, and it has helped. So this is why I wanted to talk to you.